Being diagnosed with a serious illness sucks, especially when there isn't exactly a cure. What does one do about it? Well, if you're Ruth and Garcia, you write some really awesome, heartfelt poetry. Hi, I'm author and vlogger Garrett K. Jones, and welcome to the first segment of Author Awareness for Season 2 of the Vlog of the Five Kingdoms. I try to make new content every week, so don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on YouTube. Happy Saturday and welcome back. If you like what you see, make sure to subscribe and click the bell to be notified of new videos. You can get alerts for all videos, or you can be more selective. Remember, the power is yours. Alright, so we're going to get right into the first interview of the season. This month's interview is with friend and fellow writer Ruth Ann Garcia, who actually interviewed me for her blog several months ago. And now she's here to talk about her new book, Bleeding Orchid. Hi Ruth, thanks for doing the interview. So what is your book, Bleeding Orchid, about?
Hi Garrett, thank you so much for having me. Bleeding Orchid is a collection of poems that I wrote to express emotions I was going through upon being diagnosed with Crohn's disease. I decided that instead of writing a book that had way too much personal information in it, snapshots of my emotions were easier to express. So I took poems that I wrote over a 4-year period and I picked and choose which ones were the most important, and I went ahead and put them in this binding, and I feel like it's a great representation of like where I started and where I am now.
How did you get started in writing? Was it just something that happened, or was it something that you've always wanted to do? Are you traditionally published as an author, or are you an indie author?
So I started writing at age 10. I began writing songs and then graduated to writing poetry. And I think it wasn't until high school that I actually started doing like short story work. And it started off as just, for homework. And then I decided that I really liked it. So I got into doing that for fun. And then in 2015, I really sat down and started taking writing seriously. And I've been writing ever since. And I am an indie author. I decided to go with the self-publishing. And I think for my next book, I might do the same. I've not decided yet. I feel like I have time, so I'm going to take my time in deciding what was best for me. But for this book, I self-published it.
Are there any other genres other than poetry that you're interested in writing?
Other than poetry, I really enjoy writing historical fiction. I'm really into history and I love to use my imagination. So I love to write fantasy. I'm a sucker for romance. I don't know if that's just me being a woman or if it's just because I like it. But sometimes I do tend to write romance subplots within the, other genres. And I love crime. So I'm not one to like write a sappy book, but I love intertwining all kinds of genres together because it just makes me super happy. So I like to use my creativity, and all of those genres are a way to do that. And then I want to try doing horror in the future, but we'll see how that goes.
What was the most challenging part of writing Bleeding Orchid?
I think the most challenging thing about writing Bleeding Orchid was that it's like the vulnerable side of me, because I wrote them all during the time that these things were happening to me. I did edit them because I felt like I felt exposed, I guess. And so that was probably the most challenging thing for me, is feeling like I've laid out everything. If you don't know what Crohn's disease is, it's just this awful thing that there's so much embarrassing things about it, and it's not pretty, and there's just so much that comes along with it. And so I tried to be cognizant of the fact that there was so much ugliness, and it was really embarrassing and sort of vulnerable of me to put myself out there like that. So that was probably the most hard thing, is being transparent about difficult topics.
Is there any advice you might be able to offer for any would-be writers out there?
I'm not one to be able to answer this question very well, but I'm gonna try. I feel like I haven't been in the game long enough to offer super cool advice, but the one piece of advice that I would offer is to just put yourself out there and share your work with others, because I feel like the more you sit down and write, the better you're gonna be and the more you're gonna grow. But if you're only stuck in your own head and you don't get anyone else's perspective, or you don't get anyone's opinion of your writing, that's gonna kind of hold you back. So I feel like it took me a really, really long time to take my own advice, but that's the piece of advice I would give, is put yourself out there and share your work so that you can get better. And just keep writing. Just keep writing and writing, and good luck.
A big thank you goes out to Ruth for participating in the interview. For those of you interested in Ruth's poetry, Bleeding Orchid is available in the ebook format for both the Amazon Kindle and the Kindle app on your mobile device. To learn more about Ruth and her work, you can go to her website by clicking the link in the description below. Also, for more information on Crohn's disease, its symptoms, its effects, and treatment, go to crohnsandcolitis.com. Hey, thanks for watching. Connect with me on social media at GKJ_publishing using the hashtag 5kingdoms. If you're interested in sponsoring more videos like this, go to patreon.com/GKJpublishing, where you'll have the choice of 3 support tiers. Each tier comes with its own special perks, plus 24 hours early access to the vlogs before they get released on YouTube. And if vlogs aren't enough for you, I now have a new podcast, Creator's Corner, which piggybacks off of next week's segment as a way to provide tips and encouragement for other indie writers. New episodes are available every Monday morning and can be found on iTunes, Spotify, and several other sites. Don't forget to click and subscribe, and have yourself a wonderful, wonderful weekend.